Hey everyone, so this is how to install a full carbon fiber interior. This is assuming you've taken everything apart already. Starting with the dashboard, one thing to note is that for the speaker holes, they have pre-drilled holes. However, you will notice that when you first put in your screws for the speaker grills and the speakers, there won't be any threads. So you can start the thread, but you'll kind of hit a block. And so what I did was you go to the block, try to keep the screw straight, and take a drill. Again, I'm not responsible if you mess up, but this is how I did it, and you're supposed to make your own threads. So you take your drill and so first you start it by hand and then very slowly try to drill through and then back up. And I'm doing this one-handed. I've already made my threads, so mine are already done, but I just wanted to show you guys how to do it. So just go slowly. And then back up. Once it goes through, just reverse it and go back down. Do that a few times so it gets used to the screw gets mated into the carbon fiber and the fiberglass. So that's how you do that. So you want this one and this one, those two forward ones. I didn't do the back ones because it's very, very difficult to tighten those screws with the windshield in the way. And honestly, you don't need them. Those two are plenty. And do the same thing on that side, and then you can install it. Okay, so once you put in the carbon fiber dash, you have one screw here going to the top. So you have one screw here. Second screw is right in the middle of the gauge cluster. Third screw is right in between the radio surround. And those three holes we will not be using. And the last screw is at the end right here. So once you have your speakers installed, you just need these two forward screws. And then you move on to something else. So now we are going to the end caps. These are all your parts. So here are the end caps. You always want to put stuff side by side, that way you have a better idea of what goes where. So getting these vents off is pretty straightforward. On the side here, I'm trying to get the light for you guys. So it's hard to do this one-handed, but so you see these little tabs? There's two tabs, one here and one on the other side here. So what you do is you just need one of them to come off. Trying to get the light so you guys can see. So you just push this tab in. Once it's free, just push this through and it should pop out right like that. And then you can, I would clean it up a little bit, get the dust off and the grease, and pop it in the carbon fiber one. At the same time, you want to get these clips off. These two clips and these two bottom clips, they just snap out. and just transfer them to your carbon fiber piece. So the next step is to disconnect and transfer your switches and your starter switch to the carbon fiber piece. So to do that, you have to unscrew this metal piece. Once it unscrews, take this part off. And I'm trying to do this one-handedly. So set this on the floor. So you take this ring off, set that aside, and then you can push the bottom piece out or pull this piece out. Oh, and before you do that, clear these tapes. This foam pieces, they're held together by some glue. As much as you can, try to transfer those to the new one. So anyways, you pull this out, spool these through, and do the same thing for the rest of them. And for the starter, there is this connector right here. You just pull on this, it comes out like that, and then you unscrew this. This piece comes out, and try to have it in order, that way you don't mess it up. As you can see, you can see where it goes. So then you can lift that off. So then you have your old piece, and let's transfer these to your new carbon fiber piece. When you want to start to do the door panel, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. And right behind here, there's also a tiny screw, a Phillips. So take that out, and basically there's a push pin. There's a push pin with the screw. So once you take the screw out, pull the push pin out, and then the door panel will be loose. Tilt it back. You'll see the connector for the power windows here. Just reach down and separate them. Once you separate that, you'll have 2 Velcros. One right there and one right there. And once you have those loose, you have a pin or one of those push pins, but this is directional. So once you have those loose, you have to pull it towards the outside. So once you get the door panel loose, I have to do this one-handed. Okay. So once you have this out, push it that way and pull it out. So we have the door panel here, and one thing to note is when you put the switch back, that you want the little white dot to be facing up, or else it wouldn't fit into the electrical connector. And keeping it in this position, if you flip it and we put it back, you'll notice 2 notches. Those little pins go into those notches, and you might notice that one of the pins are too small or too big, mostly too small. So that one fits, but the smaller one, or the bottom one, is a little bit too small. So using a Dremel, you just want to kind of widen that little gap. That way it sits flush and you won't crack it when you tighten it down. Okay, so now we're at the end caps and the side sill portion. To do this, it's best to do it outside the car, because if you try to do it while it's in the car, the tabs, it's very difficult to mate them together. So you want to do this before you put it in the car, so you're basically installing it as one whole unit. And before you do that, on your side sill, make sure that you have your little foam pads and little pads underneath here. That way, when you put weight on the side sill, it doesn't crack your carbon fiber side sill. So, attach those together. You have those two little clips. Trying to get you guys to be able to see. There's one up there and one up there. So you want to push those into the car, just like how you took the end cap out. So now we're going to start on the radio surround. You want to do this before you do the binnacle and the steering shroud, and as well as before the airbag. The reason being is you need to access these screws. There's one here, and on the other side, of course, there's one there. So just take the screws off and then pull your assembly out. So once you've taken the radio surround out, you want to transfer these vents and those two Velcro strips up here, and just transfer your radio onto your carbon fiber one. You want to fish the wires through and then push this in, and then put in your surround faceplate. And I didn't show that part because everyone's radio is different, so your radio is different than mine, and so you just want to transfer your radio onto this one. There is a black box, that not a box but a connector. You just press those two tabs in and just pull it out. One thing to mention is this aluminum area is very sharp, so be very careful when you put your hands through there. There's a harness that you can pull out, and the harness will come up till here, and you can disconnect it from here. Don't try to disconnect it with your hand inside there, because if you slip, you're going to slice your fingers or your arm right open, and that's not going to be a good day. So yeah, once you finish the radio swap, just put the carbon fiber one, and then we can go on to the airbag or your binnacle and steering wheel surround. Okay, so now after you have put on the end cap, the switches, and the side sill, now it's time for the top binnacle. Here it is right here. So where it's going to go into, there are those two slots. Basically those two slots go into those two slots, and those two slots go into those two slots. So on the OEM one, there is a little piece like this, which has Velcro, and typically it goes right here, and it kind of guides the binnacle on there. However, on the carbon fiber one, we don't need to use that. So just place that down here and align the slots, and just press it in, and it should go in. So for the steering wheel column, you just place it under here, align it with this part, and just push it up, and you will have two screws, one right here and one right there. Just screw those in. You'll have one screw here and one screw over here. So once you have that in place, you can fit the top of this. Just press down, and I'm assuming you have a fastener in the back of this. Put the screw in here, fasten it down, and then do the same thing to the other side. Okay, so now it's time to do the airbag. I just want to mention that anytime you work with the airbag system, it's always a good idea to make sure the car is off and the fuse for the airbag is pulled. This is an extremely low chance of having the airbag deploy because you're not working with electrical wires. but just to be safe, it's always a good idea to practice that when working with airbags. So in order to take the airbag off, which by the way, when you change, your factory airbag system to like an aftermarket, like even if it's a cover like this, there's always a chance that it doesn't work as intended by the factory. So take that into consideration before you alter your stock system. So this is the aftermarket carbon fiber one. You can see all the holes where the bolts go into. So to take the airbag off, basically you have to take it off like this. There's going to be a Velcro strip on the top which has the airbag cover Velcroed in. So normally it sits like this, you just pull on it pretty hard and it should free itself. But I'm sure you should have already have this off when you took the dash off. So once you take this off, you want to flip it over. You'll notice two straps and a white protecting sheet. So this sheet is hiding a few bolts that you need to get loose in order to take this off. So there's going to be a bolt right here, and this sheet is held on by double-sided tape which goes over the bolts, so you can't really see them. You have a hard time seeing the bolts, but if you look carefully you can see them. If you use a screwdriver you can kind of pick this stuff off, but it's a Phillips screw, so you should have a Phillips to take that off. But if you can, just take this white piece off so you can reveal the bolts, and then simply transfer it to the new carbon fiber piece, and I'll show you that as soon as I get this one off. So once you pry off the white sheet, you'll see 4 bolts at the bottom, or 4 screws at the bottom, and then 6 screws right in the center, and you just need to remove those to free up the metal bracket. So as you can see, the cover for the airbag is off, and you're revealed with this, the metal bracket with the little film protector. So the way you want to put it on is the same as reverse. So you want to set this up here, and damn, that looks pretty nice, doesn't it? So anyways, you want to tilt it up to reveal those, and then you want to, you can like actually just close it together like this, and then move it up as one unit. It's hard to do with one hand, but basically you take that cover off and just line up the screws, and you should be done. One thing I'd like to mention, and I think it's really important, and it could save you a lot of grief, is right after you're done taking out the screws, if you notice the holes, they don't have threads. They don't have threads in them, and you'll need to basically create your thread as you tighten it down. And the problem with that is, because these are epoxied in, the force that is required to create new threads onto this epoxy, it's going to twist this. So it's going to twist this, and it could break it off. And to prevent that from happening, and not to run any troubles on the car, what you want to do is spray some WD-40 inside the holes, just like that, and take one of the screws and basically start the thread, and make sure that it's center and straight, and then with one hand hold this tightly, and with the other hand you can use a 90-degree or drill to basically tighten it down and make the threads that way. So hold this tight and tighten it at the same time. That way it doesn't flex and you can create your threads. So when you put this on the car, it'll go on fairly easily. Okay, so now basically when you want to put it back, you kind of want to put some tape around your other carbon fiber bits as well as the top of this to prevent it from being scratched. If you flip it over, as you can see, it's back together. So you have those screws in the outer right there, the inner there, and then you have two more inside here, and then the 6 over here. Do not thread these ones at the bottom, even though there is a spot to thread it, like how I showed you. Don't thread that part, because that part is too thin and your screw will most likely come out of the carbon fiber in the front. And to be honest, like, all you actually really need is just those just 3 or 4 screws maximum, and this is definitely not going anywhere. I mean, it's lightweight carbon fiber, it's not like steel. So if you miss a couple screws, that's totally fine. Even if a couple of those break, don't sweat it. There's plenty more and it's definitely not going anywhere. So once it's back together, just flip this thing back together. If it doesn't stay, you could kind of glue it or attach a little bit of double-sided tape onto it. Make sure your airbag is completely how it was before to ensure safe deployment. And then you can take your tape off. And I won't bore you with that part. So attach your Velcro slip over here, and then attach the other Velcro in the back of here. Once it's back, you just put it together, and then you're all set. So one of the last pieces of the interior is the AC surround. This is actually very easy. All you have to do is pull this out, your stock one, and there will be a railing here and a railing on this side. Basically it comes out that way, and you'll have 4 screws, 2 up here and 2 down here. The screws are onto the circuit board, which connects the board to this faceplate, and basically that's all you have to do for that. And then once you've done that, you put it back and you should be complete. I actually did not upgrade or change my center console to carbon fiber. I've been debating on doing that simply because I made this myself, and I wrapped this myself, and it was actually pretty neat. So I liked it. But this would be the same thing as stock. This is not really that difficult at all. Same process of taking it off and putting it back on. So once you are done with that, you should be all complete. And let me show you the finished results. And I've also put in my carbon fiber seats. So here's the results. So there's a complete carbon fiber interior. Those the side scoops, the GRP side scoops with the custom gold hardware. It's also signed by Elise Exige, which is the daughter of the Lotus chairman at the time, and the car is actually named after her. My custom padding is still not in yet for the carbon fiber seats. But I'm also gonna show you guys how I install those. And you can always follow me on Instagram. That's the Instagram account. Special thanks to Greg for all his help and support on this project. It's been an incredible project and it looks amazing. So everything works, fits great. So that's what a full carbon fiber Elise or Exige looks like on the inside. Of course, you got the track bar, or the harness bar rather, in the back. And the GoPro, which I need to update, but this is basically how it looks like. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you have any questions at all. If I can help you guys in any way, let me know. And subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and leave any comments below if you have any questions. So thanks again, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I wish you the best of luck in your projects.